Hello, Zenith women, and welcome to the channel. Touch not my anointed, and do my prophets no harm. Psalm 105:15. But what if the prophet doesn't wear a robe, doesn't carry a staff, and doesn't preach from a pulpit, but instead walks in silence, draped in elegance, and minds her business like it's a sacred ritual? Well, welcome to the world of the Sigma woman, God's most discreetly protected force on earth. You see, while most people believe protection from evil looks like walls, weapons, or watchdogs, the truth is far more fascinating and honestly a little unsettling. Because when God protects someone, it's not loud, it's surgical, strategic, supernatural. Evil people don't just fail when they try her, they fall apart. Fact, according to a behavioral psychology study, emotionally resilient people with strong intuition tend to repel toxic personalities before any damage occurs. But spiritual warriors like Sigma women, they don't just repel evil, they expose it, dismantle it, and walk away without a scratch while sipping herbal tea. So if you've ever wondered why nothing ever seems to stick to her, why betrayal backfires, why enemies suddenly forget why they were mad, or why even Satan himself would think twice before testing her peace, then buckle up. Because today we're diving into 11 brutally honest, mind-blowing signs that a Sigma woman is protected by God from evil people, not by luck, not by charm, but by divine design. And trust me, this isn't your grandma's protection prayer circle. This is spiritual warfare with lipstick, silence, and a look that says, try me and meet your consequences. Number 1, she has an aura of don't try it, and evil respects that. There's something unexplainable about the way a Sigma woman carries herself that makes evil people second-guess their own intentions. It's not that she threatens anyone, raises her voice, or puts on a show. In fact, it's the complete opposite. Her energy is quiet, focused, and composed, but underneath that calm presence is something people can't put into words. It's like she's surrounded by an invisible warning sign that says, don't try it. Evil people feel it before they even know her name. They feel it when they step into her space, when she looks them in the eye, when she doesn't react the way most people would. There's no panic, no need to prove herself. She sees straight through the games and she doesn't flinch. That kind of clarity makes the wrong people uncomfortable. It forces them to face themselves. And let's be honest, most of them can't handle that. She doesn't engage in drama, doesn't respond to manipulation, and doesn't entertain nonsense. But here's the twist. The more someone tries to provoke her, the more they end up exposed. Not because she fights back, but because something about her presence makes people trip over their own lies. It's like their darkness malfunctions when it gets too close to her. Their usual tactics stop working. They can't charm her, confuse her, or distract her, and that makes her dangerous to them. She walks into a room and shifts the atmosphere without saying a word. Not because she's trying to, but because the spiritual weight she carries speaks louder than any speech. People feel it in their gut. Some are drawn to her light. Others feel judged by it. Evil people, they feel threatened, and they don't even know why. The truth is, she doesn't need to do anything special to be protected. Her very existence is the protection. The way she sees through people, the way she stays grounded, the way she refuses to shrink herself for comfort. It's all part of the armor. Evil can sense when someone is not spiritually available for nonsense. And that's the Sigma woman's quiet superpower. Her presence alone says, don't try it. You won't survive the fallout. Number 2, when she prays, enemies get confused. When a Sigma woman prays, it's not loud, performative, or dramatic. It's focused, raw, and real. She's not out here calling down fire on her enemies or making threats in the name of revenge. She doesn't have to. Her prayers aren't rooted in ego. They're rooted in alignment. She doesn't beg God to destroy her enemies. She just asks for truth to come to light and for anything not meant for her to be removed. And somehow, that simple request sends chaos into the camps of those who meant her harm. People who plotted against her suddenly can't think straight. They get confused, distracted, or pulled into their own mess. What once seemed like a solid plan to deceive or use her falls apart piece by piece, and they don't understand why. They blame bad timing, miscommunication, or even call it bad luck. But deep down, something in their spirit knows it's because they touched someone they shouldn't have. Her prayers are quiet, but backed by divine intelligence. She doesn't pray for outcomes, she prays for discernment, clarity, and protection. and the universe responds. Suddenly, people who came to manipulate her find themselves exposed. Their masks fall off, not because she forces it, but because the energy she called in makes it impossible for them to keep pretending. Sometimes her enemies turn on each other, other times they fall into the very traps they set for her. It's not spite, it's a spiritual law in motion. She operates in alignment, and anything out of alignment can't stay near her for long. That includes fake friends, toxic relationships, and secret enemies. What really unsettles people is that she doesn't gloat when things fall apart for them. She doesn't post cryptic messages or throw shade. She simply moves on with peace. That's the part that stings the most. She didn't even need to fight. She prayed, stepped back, and let everything rearrange itself. When she prays, she doesn't aim at people. She aims for truth, protection, and light. And truth has a way of scattering darkness in every direction. Number 3, God lets her be tested, but not touched. God doesn't pamper the Sigma woman, He prepares her. That's why her life isn't easy, but it's purposeful. She gets tested, pushed, and stretched in ways that would break most people, but somehow she keeps standing. She's been through situations that should have crushed her spirit, yet here she is, calm, focused, and stronger than ever. It's not because she's immune to pain, it's because she's protected while in it. The difference is subtle but powerful. Evil is allowed to knock on her door, but it can't come in unless she opens it, and she rarely does. She faces betrayal, rejection, financial hardship, emotional storms, but she never loses herself in them. The fire is real, the heartbreaks are real, the pressure is intense, but she doesn't get consumed by it. It doesn't define her, it refines her. That's how you know she's spiritually covered. Her trials are not random, they're tailored. Every storm she faces isn't just for survival, it's for sharpening. God allows the weight, but never enough to crush her. He allows the tension, but always leaves a way of escape. He allows the test, not so she can fail, but so she can rise again and again. People around her are often confused. They see what she's going through and expect her to break. They whisper, waiting for her downfall. But instead of falling apart, she gets quieter. She pulls back, prays deeper, listens more, and when she comes out the other side, she's wiser, colder to nonsense, and even harder to manipulate. That's what separates her from others. She doesn't need constant protection from life's problems. She just needs permission from God to endure. And once He gives it, she walks through the fire like it's part of her path. People try to drag her into emotional wars, toxic circles, or spiritual traps, but they always end up exhausting themselves. Why? Because she's covered. Being tested is part of her calling, but being touched, that's something God simply does not allow. Number 4, she's hidden in plain sight yet unreachable. There's something strange about the Sigma woman that most people can't explain. She's right there, yet somehow out of reach. You can see her, speak to her, even be around her, but there's a wall you can't quite get through. It's not physical, it's not emotional, and it's not something she intentionally builds. It's spiritual. She's hidden in plain sight. To the average person, she seems calm, collected, maybe even quiet. But to those with bad intentions, it's like trying to walk through a door that won't open. They plan to manipulate her, use her, or drag her into drama, but every time they try, something gets in the way. They lose interest. They forget to follow through. Or they end up distracted by something else entirely. It's not luck. It's not coincidence. It's spiritual interference. This isn't just about her being private or hard to read. It's deeper. She's protected by delay, protected by confusion, protected by divine rerouting. People with hidden motives might stalk her page, send messages, or try to charm her, but none of it sticks. The moment they move in with wrong energy, life throws them a curveball they didn't expect. That's not her doing. That's what divine covering looks like. Even people who get close to her for the wrong reasons find themselves backing off, sometimes without knowing why. They lose access. Not because she pushed them out, but because something higher made her invisible to them. Her spirit doesn't respond to fake energy. Her presence doesn't welcome destruction. It shuts it down silently. She doesn't chase validation or play the visibility game, but her energy still draws attention. The right people respect it. The wrong ones get uncomfortable. And the truly evil? They get blocked before they even realize what hit them. She's like a divine glitch in the matrix. Everything looks normal until you try to control her. Then it's as if the system resets. Your influence fails. Your agenda breaks. You don't even know why. That's the beauty of her protection. You can see her, but you can't reach her unless God says so. Number 5, She's surrounded by chaos, yet untouched. There's something almost eerie about how the Sigma woman moves through life. She's often surrounded by mess, conflict, confusion, chaos, but somehow it doesn't reach her. She could be in the middle of an argument and not be emotionally pulled in. She could work in a toxic environment, but her spirit remains clean. She could be surrounded by broken people trying to drag her into their storm, but she remains centered, unshaken, and untouched. It's not because she doesn't feel, it's because she's shielded. Things happen around her, but rarely to her. Car accidents come close, but miss. Backstabbers make plans, but their efforts collapse before they reach her. People try to manipulate her emotionally, but their tactics fall flat. She doesn't even flinch. Not because she's numb, but because she's deeply grounded in something most people can't see. Others call it luck, but it's not that. It's discernment, protection, and spiritual insulation all rolled into one. She's the kind of woman who can be in a crowded room full of gossip, envy, or even subtle attacks, and somehow walk out with her peace fully intact. She might notice the chaos, but it doesn't absorb into her system. Her emotional firewall is too strong, and not because she built it herself, but because something bigger installed it. People around her will get caught in drama, accidents, even spiritual traps, but somehow she's always the one who narrowly avoids it. Timing always seems to work in her favor. She shows up late and misses a disaster. She leaves early and escapes a breakdown. She ignores a message that would have drained her. It all looks random from the outside, but it's far from it. She doesn't fight the chaos, she flows around it. And the wildest part, she often doesn't even know how protected she is until much later. Someone will say, "You know what would have happened if you showed up?" And she just smiles, knowing deep down, that's not luck. That's covering. The world may spin out of control around her, but she walks through it like a force that can't be touched. Not because she's untouchable, but because chaos recognizes her protection and knows better than to test it. Number 6, people feel intimidated by her presence, even without knowing why. There's a quiet intensity to the Sigma woman that makes people uneasy, and she doesn't even have to open her mouth. She can walk into a room, sit down, and say absolutely nothing, and still the energy shifts. Not because she's trying to dominate, but because her presence carries weight. The kind of weight that exposes hidden motives without a word. Evil people, manipulators, and pretenders feel it instantly. They don't know what it is, but something about her makes them uncomfortable. Like they've just been seen by something they can't lie to. She doesn't make threats. She doesn't throw around her beliefs or spiritual power. But those with bad intentions feel judged just by standing next to her. It's not that she's condemning them, it's that her spirit mirrors their own, and they don't like what they see. It's like standing under a spotlight that shows every crack, every false mask, every crooked intention. Her silence speaks louder than any confrontation. People who live in lies get nervous around her. They fidget, over-explain, avoid eye contact, or worse, try to overpower her with fake confidence, but none of it works. She doesn't bite, she just watches. That watchfulness is what really scares them, because they know deep down that she's not fooled, and even if she never calls it out, they leave feeling exposed. The truth is, she's not intimidating because she's aggressive. She's intimidating because she's spiritually clean. There's no pretense in her, no approval seeking, no need to perform. And that raw authenticity unsettles people who are used to hiding behind charm or chaos. Her presence calls them out without saying a word. She may be calm, kind, or even soft-spoken, but her aura doesn't play games. It pierces through the fake. It disarms manipulation. It pushes hidden darkness into the open. That's why some people avoid her after just one meeting. They can't handle being seen at that level. It's not that she's trying to be powerful, it's that she is, not because of ego, but because of what she's aligned with. And evil can't stand too close to that without coming undone. Number 7. She walks away right before disaster hits. There's something unnervingly precise about the way a Sigma woman escapes danger. She doesn't make a scene or announce her exit, she just knows when to leave. One moment she's present, the next she's gone. And right after that, everything goes south. Fights break out, secrets spill, scandals explode, but she's nowhere to be found. People might call it intuition or coincidence, but it's not. It's divine extraction, God pulling her out right before the impact. She doesn't always understand why she feels the sudden urge to leave a conversation, skip an event, or stop responding to someone. It's not fear and it's not anxiety. It's a quiet, almost unexplainable pressure in her spirit that says, "Get out, now." And she listens, without needing all the answers. That's the thing. She trusts the nudge more than she trusts the facts. And that trust is what protects her. People notice it too. They might not say anything at first, but they remember. Didn't she leave right before that happened? Wasn't she supposed to be here? Why did she back off so suddenly? They can't connect the dots, but the pattern is too consistent to ignore. She's always one step ahead of disaster, and not because she sees it coming, but because something greater does. The most chilling part. She often finds out later what she avoided. She'll hear about the fallout, the betrayal, the accident, and realize just how close she was to being in the center of it. And instead of panic, she feels peace, because now she knows. That exit wasn't random. That silence wasn't accidental. That cancelled plan wasn't just a gut feeling, it was divine timing. She doesn't argue with the pull anymore. When the energy shifts, she shifts with it. No questions, no overthinking, just movement. And that's why evil can't trap her. It tries, but before the web can tighten, she's already gone, not because she's lucky, but because she's watched over. God never lets her stay in a place where destruction is about to strike. And when he says move, she doesn't wait. She walks. Number 8, the truth follows her like a shadow. The Sigma woman doesn't have to chase down rumors or clear her name. The truth does it for her. It follows her like a shadow, faithfully and silently. No matter how hard people try to drag her through the mud, the lies never land. They float around for a while, gathering the usual crowd of gossip-hungry spectators, but then something strange happens. The story collapses. The facts don't add up. The people spreading the lies start acting weird, and suddenly she's not the one on trial, they are. That's because her truth is built different. It's not just about being honest, it's about being spiritually aligned. Her character has been tested and her foundation is solid. So when evil people try to smear her, it's like throwing gasoline at fireproof glass. It makes noise, maybe even smoke, but nothing burns. The mess bounces off. The truth exposes the lie. And the liar always ends up revealing more about themselves than her. This is what frustrates her enemies the most. They can't control her, so they try to control her image. But every attempt to distort it backfires. People start asking questions. Inconsistencies surface. And the ones spreading rumors start looking suspicious. She doesn't even have to speak. Just by continuing to live in alignment with who she is, the truth rises like a tide and drowns the lies quietly. Even the people who believed the worst about her eventually come around, often confused about why they felt so sure in the first place. That's the power of spiritual clarity. It has a way of correcting the room without her needing to step in. She's not immune to being lied about, but lies never last around her. They melt in the heat of her authenticity. They stumble in the presence of her integrity. They vanish under the weight of her calm. People may throw mud, but it never sticks. Not because she's flawless, but because she's covered. And in a world addicted to scandal and half-truths, her quiet alignment with truth is loud enough to silence every storm. That's why evil stays frustrated. No matter what it does, it can't rewrite what God already made untouchable. Number 9, dreams warn her about people, and she believes them. The Sigma woman doesn't dismiss her dreams as random thoughts or weird nighttime stories. She pays attention because she knows that for her, dreams aren't just dreams, they're messages, warnings, blueprints. When she sees symbols, faces, or strange encounters while she sleeps, she doesn't wake up and brush them off. She investigates, she prays, she cuts people off if needed, and she does it without apology. If she dreams of a snake, it's not just some abstract image. She starts looking at who's been shedding fake skin around her. If she dreams of drowning, she checks who's been emotionally draining her. If she dreams of betrayal, someone close usually gets exposed shortly after. Her dreams are like spiritual alarm systems, sometimes loud, sometimes subtle, but always accurate. That's because she's not spiritually deaf. She's tuned in. Where most people wake up and say, "That was weird," she says, "That meant something." She doesn't need 10 confirmations. One clear message is enough for her to act, and that's why her protection is next level, because she doesn't ignore the early warnings. She doesn't let people overstay their spiritual welcome. This ability unsettles people, especially those who are used to hiding their true intentions. They think they've got her fooled, but then she backs off, suddenly and decisively, No drama, no confrontation, just distance. And they're left wondering, how did she know? The truth is, she was told in a dream, and unlike most people, she believes what she's shown. That's what makes her dangerous to evil. She's not waiting for proof in the physical world. She's already seen it in the spiritual. She's already removed herself from the trap. She's already shifted her boundaries while the enemy was still preparing their mask. And when people start disappearing from her life without explanation, it's not because she's cold, it's because she was warned. And when you're spiritually protected, obedience is protection. So she listens, even when it doesn't make sense, even when it hurts. Because in her world, if God shows her, it's already truth, and she moves accordingly. Number 10, she's covered even when she's broken. When a Sigma woman hits rock bottom, it might look like she's falling apart on the outside, but inside something unshakable is holding her together. She's not always soaring or shining. Sometimes she's bruised, tired, and carrying the weight of the world. But even in those moments when it seems like everything is collapsing, she's never truly alone or unprotected. There's this mysterious peace that wraps around her like an invisible shield, quiet, steady, and unexplainable. God doesn't always swoop in and save her from the storm the way movies show. There's no sudden rescue or dramatic exit from hardship. Instead, what she gets is far more profound: silence in the chaos. That silence isn't emptiness. It's a sacred space where the noise of fear, doubt, and pain gets muffled. It's a calm in the eye of the hurricane, where she can breathe and gather strength without being crushed by the storm around her. This peace doesn't erase her pain, but it changes the way she experiences it. When she's broken, that silence keeps her from shattering completely. It's like God's way of saying, I'm here, even if you can't see me. And that presence, though unseen, is a powerful form of protection. It keeps her grounded, helps her survive what should have destroyed her, and prepares her to rise again, stronger and wiser. To the outside world, her struggles might look like weakness. But what they don't see is how deeply she's covered in those moments. Her lowest points are not a sign of abandonment, but of a different kind of armor, one forged in the quiet spaces where no one else dares to go. That silence she carries is a fortress, a sacred refuge, and the truest kind of protection a woman can have. No matter how broken she appears, she is always shielded. Not because her life is perfect, but because her spirit is sacred. And even in the darkest valleys, that sacredness keeps her untouched by the evil that tries to invade. Number 11, evil people forget her, literally. Evil people often make the mistake of thinking the Sigma woman is an easy target, someone to manipulate, break down, or use. But here's the thing, more often than not, they forget her entirely. It sounds strange, almost like she's invisible, but it's one of the most powerful ways God protects her. When darkness comes with bad intentions, it sometimes slips right past her, distracted or confused, as if she's not even there. The people with evil plans against her get caught up in their own chaos, arguments, lies, or sudden changes in their schemes. And before they realize it, she's no longer part of their focus. They try to follow through with their harm, but something derails them. A forgotten detail, a shift in their own mindset, or a distraction pulls them away. They can't pin her down or keep her in their sight. It's as if she exists on a different frequency, one that their negativity just can't tune into. It's not about her being naive or unaware. She's hyper-aware, but chooses not to engage with the toxic energy. Because of that, she's practically off limits without any visible force field. Evil can't seem to remember she exists, and that's why their efforts to harm her fall apart before they even start. She becomes this ghostly figure in their minds, someone they meant to target but somehow forgot about. This forgetting isn't random, it's a divine erasure. God makes sure she's not marked or bookmarked in the enemy's playbook. Her presence disrupts their focus so thoroughly that they can't fixate on her long enough to cause damage. So while evil people scramble, plot, and scheme, she quietly moves forward, shielded by an invisible hand that causes darkness to lose track of her. They forget her, literally, because when God covers a Sigma woman, even evil can't keep her in mind long enough to harm her. The Sigma woman moves through life wrapped in a protection few can see, but everyone feels. Her shield isn't just about keeping danger at bay. It's about preserving her essence, her light, and her power in a world that constantly tries to dim it. This divine protection doesn't come from luck or coincidence. It's a fierce, purposeful guardianship that lets her face storms without breaking, navigate darkness without fear, and walk through chaos untouched. She isn't just surviving, she's thriving under a protection so subtle yet so unyielding that even the most cunning evil can't penetrate it. Every test, every betrayal, every moment of doubt is met not with defeat but with a strength that's been carefully cultivated by a higher power. The Sigma woman doesn't need to fight for her peace. It's been gifted to her and she carries it like an unbreakable armor. To witness a Sigma woman protected by God is to see a rare force of nature, quiet yet commanding, vulnerable yet invincible, ordinary yet extraordinary. Her protection isn't just a blessing, it's a statement. It says without words that she will rise, she will endure, and nothing dark or evil will ever steal her light. That's why, in a world full of noise and chaos, she remains untouchable, unseen by the shadows, and unstoppable. And that is the power of a Sigma woman truly protected by God, untamed, unshaken, and utterly unstoppable. If you found this insight powerful and eye-opening, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss content like this. Like the video if it resonated with you, drop a comment below to share your thoughts or experiences, and be sure to share it with someone who needs to hear this truth today. Your support means the world and helps this message reach more people who are ready to embrace their own unstoppable power. Stay strong, stay protected, and I'll see you in the next one.